Bullock, and welcome to our training kitchen at Pacific TAFE, the University of the South Pacific. I am Posi Rio, a cookery trainer. I will show you our take on chicken curry. We will use a whole chicken, which we will cut up after this. For spices, our spices for this recipe would be turmeric, masala, fennel seeds, cumin, and sarso or mustard seeds. Then we have some tomatoes. Tomatoes are coming into season. Coriander is now in season. And then the base spices of onion and garlic. First, we'll peel the onion, cutting off the root base and the tip. Always be neat, organized. A bulb of garlic, and then cloves. For our recipe, we will use about 3 cloves. We're going to cut some tomatoes. Just chop tomatoes. The eye, cut just beside it so that you don't get, so you only have to remove one part of it. Turn it over so it's easier to cut. For the chicken, we remove the excess fat, but keep the skin on. Start by taking the wings out, the joint, legs, pop it out, take the eye out. Neck out. Separate the carcass. Always cut through the joints. Look for the line of fat. That's where the joint is. The chicken should have been defrosted. This was taken out of the freezer yesterday, so it can defrost for today's work. Likewise, at home, do the same. If you're cooking a chicken dish tomorrow, defrost it today. Leave it in the fridge, out from the freezer. Knuckles out. If we're going to cook it for our restaurant service here at Pacific Fusion, we would have deboned it and used the bones to make stock to complete the curry. Because we are showing this as a possible dish to be cooked at home, we have used the whole chicken. We have some short grain Calrose rice, 3 cups, and 3. To wash the rice, add enough water, rub it in to clean it. Drain it off, and then just use the dry rice to rub and empty starch, wash it away. This is very similar to how the Japanese wash their sushi rice. Gently, the rice grains are hard, so you will not going to damage it, except for basmati rice maybe. This is short grain, so it should be okay. Really work it so that you get all the starch out. Water is almost clear. Right, now we're going to measure our water. Our measurements here at Pacific Fusion is 1 rice to 1.5 cups of water. We have 3 cups here. That means we will put in 4.5 cups of water. You will also note that when I drained it, not all the water came out, so there's approximately half a cup of water in there. So which means I will only add in 4 cups of water. And 4. So the last one is not exactly half, to account for the water that was left behind when I washed the rice. First, you will have to bring this to boil. Control the fire In cooking, heat control is really important. When you control the heat, you control the state of the food that you cook. You also control the amount of cost, the fuel that you use. Keep it open. We're going to bring this to boil. We're going to slow cook it to vaporize all the water, get it almost dry, and then we'll cover it, reduce further, and cook for the next 10 minutes. Now to start off our curry, very clean pot, enough oil to cook off the spices. We're going to start off with our onions. We're going to cook slowly so that the onion caramelizes, and then we'll add the garlic and our spices afterwards. It's important that the oil and the fire, the oil is heated gently through fire control, heat control, so that the onion gets to caramelize and not burn, so that you release the flavors and the oils in the onion. Now you'll see it's starting to brown. I will now add the garlic. Because the garlic has been crushed, it will get cooked very quickly. Also, the garlic has a lot less moisture compared to the onion. That's why it's not added together. If you want to caramelize your onion and you add it together with the garlic, chances are you will burn your garlic and not caramelize the onion. We're now going to add our dry spices, starting with the cumin, and the mustard. Then our turmeric and masala. It's always going to be at fusion 1:3. 1 part of turmeric, 3 parts masala. Together they make the curry powder that you buy off the top shelf. So 1 part turmeric, fry it up to release the essences, and then 3 parts masala. Now we can add our washed chicken. And it is with the heat control. We've made sure that the water, the recipe water, is vaporized slowly to cook the rice properly. Now that it's bubbling and almost dry, you cover it. From now for the next 10 minutes, do not open it. Check the fire to make sure it's as low as possible. On low fire, low heat, covered for 10 minutes. Our cut up tomatoes for a saucy consistency. We're going to, and then we'll add some salt to it now. The salt will squeeze the meat because it draws out water. Then, covered, still heat control, and we let it simmer gently. The rice has started to boil. Give it a stir so that the grains separate and it's not standing and scorching and burning. It's important that we further reduce the heat as low as possible so that this cooks gently, so that that water will cook the rice grain. If you leave it to be boiling too fast, you will vaporize all the water and your rice will not be cooked and your rice will be burnt. So that's why the need to heat control, simmer gently, and then evaporate all the water before we close and go to the second stage. It is with the heat control. We've made sure that the water, the recipe water, is vaporized slowly to cook the rice properly. Now that it's bubbling and almost dry, you cover it. From now for the next 10 minutes, Do not open it.
Time check for the rice, 10 minutes from now.
So this has cooked for about 25 minutes, so we're now going to switch it off. Open the pot, open the lid, and let any steam liquid from the lid fall in here. Don't open it here and wet all this place. We've already added some salt in the beginning. We just add a little bit more. Correct it. I'm going to add all the coriander in. Give it a final stir. And close it to infuse while we wait for the 10 minutes.
Time check for the rice.
Right, thank you. We are now ready to serve on our very expensive high-tech kitchen stands. If you follow the procedures, wash properly, measured 1 part rice to 1.5 part water, bring it to boil, reduce to simmer, cook until it's almost dry, cover, and low heat for next 10 minutes. Switch off and another 10 minutes. The outcome would be that the rice is fully cooked, fluffy, and not burnt. That's going to be the standard. So let's try it out. Let's find out. We want to see the bottom of the pot. There you go. This is a Pacific portion of rice for lunch. So this is, like we said right from the start, if we were going to use it in our training restaurant, serve it as a curry dish, we will debone it. This is for a family meal at home. Raita, local yogurt, some sour cream, and market vegetables. From Jürgen's kitchen. This is our take of chicken curry from our training kitchen at Pacific TAFE, the University of the South Pacific. Stay safe.